Here is my camera experience with the Oppo Find N3 Flip. So I've decided to go on a trip to New Orleans and take the phone with me, use it to take pictures and vlog throughout my journey. And there are a bunch of good things and some bad things I wish that can be improved on. Let's start with the good things. The camera experience as for taking photos is really good. I would say it's probably the best right now for a foldable flip phone. And that's mainly because it has a telephoto lens, so I can actually zoom in and get some pretty good looking pictures without sacrificing the quality. And I also compared this phone with the Galaxy Flip 5 throughout this trip, so that's going to be the next video. So taking photos feels like a normal phone to me just because it has the 3 camera lenses, so basically I feel less restricted or limited using this phone. On the camera UI, you get ultra wide, wide, 2x and 5x as quick access buttons, which I think is more than enough for the telephoto side. And max zoom you can get out of this is 20x, which is still more than the iPhone 15 Pro. Of course, it doesn't look the best, but out of all flip phones out there, this one is the only one that can currently do it, since all the other ones have 2 lenses, not 3. So as I'm walking around taking photos of the city, landscape, sightseeing, all my food that I ate, it felt like using any normal phone. The only thing I need to get used to with this phone is double pressing on the volume button to bring up the camera and not the power button like a lot of other phones out there. And since this is a flip phone, you can put it down anywhere you want with a flat surface and being able to take group photos or just photos of yourself. And with the use of the external display, you can use the back cameras to take better quality selfies than the front camera. Taking portrait mode pictures looks good, it has 2x, and I took this opportunity to give this to my friend. I get to turn on the external display, so I get to see myself and not really give too much direction to my friend at all. During nighttime photos, they look really good given that you are around the streets with a bunch of lights, and if you know how to control the exposure. I would always recommend sticking with the main camera lens since that would give you the best results. When I was using the ultra wide or telephoto, sometimes it's laggy or you can see the shutter speed pretty slow, so when people are walking by, it can become pretty blurry. So for taking photos with all the foldable flip phones I've used, this one is by far the most well-rounded. Last thing to mention, shooting pictures in the clamshell mode in the ultra wide, you do have to worry about not getting your pinky in the shot since it's pretty wide, and it's how you hold the phone too. Now let's talk about video. Here is where I can tell you more of the cons from my personal taste. So let's get through those and then I'm going to move on to what I like about it. First, for the vloggers out there, I realized that the stabilization isn't enough, or it seems like it doesn't have stabilization at all using the ultra wide. And this is shot when it's in its clamshell mode. But when you have the phone fully opened and using the external display, then the image or the stabilization looks very good. And this is typically not the style I would like to shoot in. I would prefer using in clamshell mode just because it's more discreet and costs less attention, especially when you're vlogging in a very busy street like this. Next is it can only be in 1080p when you're using the external display. So basically you're not getting the best quality when you want to get shots of yourself and just by vlogging with the external display. And another annoying thing is once you turn off that feature, it doesn't switch back to 4K 30 for you. And there were plenty of times where I forgot to switch it back and end up shooting in 1080p where I wanted to shoot in 4K. And the last con on my list is when you're shooting pictures and videos in the clamshell mode, there's no indication to tell you which orientation it's shooting in. Usually there's some hint to give you that you're shooting in landscape or portrait mode, but you would just have to trust it for now. So those were my major cons that stood out to me. Vlogging on this camera isn't the strongest point, but if you're behind the camera and just recording and documenting, then that's going to give you the better experience. On top of having the telephoto lens, which you can easily go to 2x and 5x, that will be helpful in certain situations. Now for the video quality, I feel like once you're at 5x, that's where you can see the major differences where it's really digitized and it's not as clean and clear. So I would recommend just sticking with 2x, unless you really need to zoom into 5x. So overall, this is a great phone for taking pictures and if you're behind a camera to shoot video. If you're planning to vlog a lot on this phone, especially in clamshell mode, then you may want to skip out on this since the stabilization isn't the best and you can't shoot in the highest quality, which 4K should be pretty standard by now. But I am very happy to see a telephoto lens on a flip phone, and I hope I will see more of these in the future with other flip phones as well. Let me know your thoughts on the Oppo Find N3 Flip. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.